have a bit of fun till I downfall. My love, if you feel like I do right now, don't say you're on the run to the other side, my love. You say you wanna try, but you never do. Sugar, there's a reason why we lose. You say you wanna cry, but you never do. Sugar, there's a reason why we lose. I don't know what you want. Let's have a bit of fun till I downfall. My love, if you feel like I do right now, don't say you're on the run to the other side, my love. You say you wanna try, but you never do. Sugar, there's a reason why we lose. You say you wanna try, but you never do. Sugar, there's a reason why we lose. You say you wanna cry, but you never do. Sugar, there's a reason why we lose. I can't believe the night lay waste to all we'd given. But honestly, you've gotta know that this ain't living, but we could run from belief.
Welcome back to the TELUS Esports Series 3. If you've been with us for the last month or so, you have seen the best of the best Canadian action that we have to offer. But you've also seen a different familiar face that's no longer with us today. Instead, we're bringing the best of the best to you, the one and only, the big man, Tony, Mr. Why Not, to join us alongside our last day of playoffs.
Ooh, that's an intro right there. My gosh, I need that every time I walk into a room. I want you there. I want you hyping me up. But man, it's really good to be here. I know you already know I love me some Apex action. I love getting to work with you, and I also love me some Samsung Galaxy S23 Ultra. Because I keep reading that on my screen. I need to grab me one of those ASAP. I'm still on my note.
I was going to say, I know from the get-go you're already looking at what the price range looking like and where you can pick one up, and trust me, absolute gem to have here. But we've got a gem of a series in our hand, a gold mine of action. And like I said, some of you have already gotten to see it so much through our earlier divisions, as well as seeing some of that competition flesh out as things have slowly started to assume more of a regular pace here as we've formed now our official brackets, and these teams have come together to compete for the top.
Yeah, I mean, it's exciting. I mean, we've seen multiple different divisions up until this point. Now we're going to see it's tougher and tougher, harder and harder as we get to it. We've seen that the open qualifiers were on Friday, June 16th. Also a little bit of action on Sunday as well. And now we're here Sunday, July 9th, 3 p.m. to 5 p.m. And of course, phase 3 is where we're going to see the best of the best. Your semis, your finals. That's going to be at the end of the month weekend, Saturday and Sunday, July 29th and 30th. Make sure that you guys are here. You're already seeing some amazing Apex action up until this point. Now when we get to the semis, now when we get to the finals, we see that best of the best.
Absolutely. And like you said, you're going to have a little bit of that break there in between those periods. Want to make sure we're not conflicting with some of the other Apex Legends action that's going on. But I can promise you, we'll be there waiting for you, not just with the semis and finals, but the format as well. As you've made mention of, it is the best of the best, but it is 20 teams that will compete in not just your standard ALGS point format, but a match point threshold.
And that's what we all want to see. You know, obviously getting to the 50 points is tough. You got to be able to match your placement points with those kill points. It can't be one or the other. But once you hit that 50 points, the only thing that matters at that point is to get the win, because it feels weird to see a team end up winning a tournament, especially one of this magnitude, and not actually win the lobby. So get to that 50 points, make sure you get those kills, make sure you get those placement points as well. But then once you get to that threshold, you have to win. The only thing that matters is first place.
Absolutely, and you sell it well. I mean, we're coming out of the top end of that one with a win, delivering with that final punch, where you will then find your lion's share of prizing here. The TELUS Esports Series 3 is not only offering the $20,000, though, in Apex Legends, they're also giving away an additional $30,000 between Rocket League, Sideswipe, and our own personal giveaways. That's right, you guys can win too. All you have to do, of course, is join the Discord, follow us in chat, get involved with us here at the TELUS Esports Series, and you can find yourself potentially with your own little boot to give.
Hold on, you're telling me I can get involved with $20,000 worth of prize pool for Apex? I get involved with $3.5K worth of prizes just in giveaways, and all I got to do is join an amazing community and get connected with other Canadian gamers who I want to beat anyways. This sounds like a win-win combination. Where's the losses here? Something seems fishy here, Zephyr. I don't trust you.
Hey, we've had the TELUS Esports Series in the past. Of course, some of you getting to participate in that TELUS Esports Series too, and I can promise you, we've had our absolute wealth of prizes come through, even for those of you who aren't competing. So take advantage. It truly is as easy as it gets, and like you said, all it takes is a simple join, click, and then obviously follow the rulings that we will have available in the Discord as well, where we get a little bit more specific than what we share here on the broadcast. But Tony, we are almost underway here into our playoffs, and I know we didn't get to really discuss and dive in what's going on here, but this is where things start to count, right? It's not match point format just yet here, but your performance today and yesterday will lead you into a good semifinals position and hopefully into that final lobby.
And with some of the action that you got the chance to cast literally just yesterday, why don't you tell the audience a little bit what to expect? I want to hear legend metas. I want to hear weapon combinations. Give me into the nitty gritty before we get into our first lobby.
Yeah, absolutely. And obviously, I like that you bring this up because we've got quite an interesting kind of division of lobbies here. We're going to be introducing the intermediate lobby to start off our day with. Some of you may be a little bit more in tune with our advanced series, but as you can see, intermediate's going to bring with it the action to behold here. Dead off drop. Well, I'd hate to say they live up to their name because that's not what you want to see, but Snowscara will try their best to make that one happen there.
And we're seeing some more action here, right? Oh, hold on. R99 is out, but the R-Stars are as well, going in quick. And you know that Nemi does damage. My gosh, King Blue get eliminated. Oh, we had a new kill leader there. It's a little more R99 action. You know, I love me some R9. It's worth the craft.
Yeah, no, I will say right now, in terms of your SMG meta, that's kind of where we're at here. And you've gotten to see that over the past few weeks when it comes to these open qualifiers. And so many of our teams have been taking advantage of that and just the tempo of aggression, right? I mean, Hierarchy, Doctana, literally launching forward in these situations as the Bricked Lads to send this one home. We got to see them just yesterday as well. And it may not have been the best of situations, but they were still stepping to it.
I love to see the advancement in the meta where we're seeing a lot more, obviously close range submachine guns. So whether it's CAR R99, and instead of those far range scouts or, I love me a charge rifle, but no charge rifle. We're seeing more mid range, a little bit of nemesis action, maybe a little bit of 30-30 repeater action. Do you expect to see more of that here in intermediate lobbies, or do you expect to get a little bit more experimental with the way they play?
I think when it comes down, if you're specifically asking weapon-wise, we're going to see a whole lot of the same, right? I mean, the strengths that have come through here for Apex have kind of defined themselves, right? But when it comes down to the legend selection and the legend meta, you have things like, hey, Canadian Demons, they're in the advanced lobby. They're running with the Mirage. I mean, tongue-in-cheek, maybe, potentially, but they don't care. They're still delivering things that bring them to wins when we talk about the playoff series. So, I mean, Tony, Apex is probably at its most versatile state when it comes to not just the weapon meta, but also these legend compositions. So, I'm personally excited. When it comes to those intermediate lobbies, you never know exactly what you're gonna get.
And that's what we love about Apex. We love the fact that there's so much that you have to be able to adapt to. There's so much counterplay. It's really a 3D chess game. Your composition, if it's slower, you want to hold those buildings. You want to hold teams off. Really play within that zone. Play towards your control specialist. Where maybe you're an edge team. You like a little bit of Bangalore action, like a little bit of Horizon action. You want to get into the face of your opponent. You want to slay, baby slay. I can't hit shots, so I'm gonna go to zone route. But I've seen you play, Zephyr. You and your fuse action. I think you're more of an edge player.
I would say I deliver where I can for my team, but I'll tell you, last time I worked with you, you were making the call-outs to bring us to hopefully some of the victories that we were searching for. So I won't, even if the gunplay ain't there, the mind is, Tony, and hopefully that's something we'll see from our players today, right? The mind's got to be there. The mind's got to be sound. For the intermediate lobby, they won't be as challenged with some of the top dogs that made their way on to advance now out of the pack here. It's definitely a place where you feel more at home, a little bit more grounded, and especially against competition that looks a little bit like yourself. Game one is underway. Let's hop right into the dropship as we make across World's Edge.
Love the fact that we are landing here in World's Edge. I love a little bit of Storm Point, and don't mind, I can take a little Broken Moon every once in a while. Olympus with its wide open play, but where it's at is right here on World's Edge. We're seeing 14 teams dropping hot. Couple over toward the fragment side, maybe a little bit rotating all the way out to Thermal Station and the tree. Spread out for the most part, but we should see a couple 50-50 gunfights in the early game.
Maybe. I am looking here. We got a huge split on that western side that was supposedly going to be a bit more of a play-in for that kind of countdown, Mirage Tra and general area, but everything's kind of spaced itself out. And notably, I want to make mention of this because it'll become super important later on, especially if we do see some pressure. Things like Lava Siphon, completely open. Harvester, nowhere to any team. All the way up top, Countdown, also available real estate. So if the potentially you're here in Climatizer. If a fight doesn't go exactly your way, I mean, that's your opportunity to potentially change things up.
And it looks like the Rats then already getting that information that there's a team over toward the Climatizer area. And actually, by the way, I love this circle pull. As a player that loves dropping Overlook, I think this circle is perfect, pulling over towards there off the rip. But it looks like we're not going to see any engagement over toward the Climatizer area. We're going to see a large rotation coming out of the Rats den. And if I'm looking right, are we rocking as a duo? Like, are we that confident?
Hey, man, I have absolutely seen duos perform. It was literally HOS yesterday who went all the way, I mean, even to top 2 just from the literal performance of, like I said, that duo squad. And we'll see. Rats Den, obviously, they're going to have to see if they can rat this one out. Even if you are a duo, the most confident of pairings, you're still at disadvantage. All right, and that means really playing this one out decisively. For the rest of these teams, though, especially a team like Yeah Buddy, who are living up to my excitement with the Revenant in hand, I mean, they're going to take this one where the action may behold.
I am a fan of Yeah Buddy for 2 reasons. Number 1, you're dropping over toward the tree. I think you have a lot of opportunities, a lot of rotation that you can make over from the tree area, and it's some decent loot. But then you're out here rocking with not only a controller console player, but a Revenant as well. Clearly, you came ready to break the meta, and I'm be watching out for Yeah Buddy.
I hope that's what they're saying, Tony, because there's some different words, some choice ones shared in situations where it all comes falling down here. And maybe it'll be potentially at the hands of the Shadow Assassins. We got some good names here. They're going to be rocking with the Loba. Now, honestly, not particularly too crazy to, see something like that Loba start to appear in our meta. I do feel bad about this placement, though. Nah,
don't you dare.
That's it. You don't have a choice. The minute you see your black market boutiques take damage, you already know you messed up.
See, I'm going to push back on you right away. You are not coming at my Loba that way. I promise you that bracelet Q, automatically gaining height in an instant as fast as a Valkyrie. You're able to get out of some crazy situations even faster than a Wraith. I'm a Loba man. You ain't gonna come at my Loba. And by the way, I know you love your grenades. I promise you, if you can master dropping that black market boutique mid gunfight, you can go in, grab a nade or 2, and get the advantage on your opponent. I love me some Loba action. You're not gonna do that, Zephyr. It's too early. We're about 10 minutes into the broadcast, and you're already making me mad.
I am a man of romance. Loba needs to sell to me as we make our way through the broadcast here. I want to see that Loba in zone. I want to see some investment in positioning, and that's when I might sing the Loba praises. For now, I'm still scouting the competition out here. We just walked past a ballistic of all choices, that legend. I'm very excited. That's some high tempo action in that specific sense, but also a Wraith coming out. I mean, literally every single one of these teams has adapted to the meta in their own unique way, and that's why I didn't want to just give you the simple answer when you asked me that question earlier, Tony, because there ain't one. I mean, you can make it work for you.
And we're looking at my GF left mess, bro. I love their composition right now. You have Valkyrie for those large rotates, and mind you, a lot of you guys are probably thinking, Valkyrie may have gotten nerfed with some of the recent updates, but I still love a Valkyrie, especially on a strong controller player. Take height immediately. You're able to fight so well and be able to adapt to any situation. The pressure that a good Valkyrie player can put onto your opponents is so valuable. And then you have Wraith, which is a great rotational legend as well. Bangalore, which for those micro rotates. I actually really like that composition. I hope they do well. Want to see them make it far into these lobbies.
I'll tell you, he's making it far. Yeah, buddy. They have already utilized not just the redeploy from this Valkyrie, but also the pairing of that balloon to launch past Siphon and the Geyser. And this is where you're going to start to see some of these teams invest, right? The end game positionings are coming alive here. For Yeah Buddy, they just barely miss out. Right behind them, a few rosters. They're going to actually get first take on some very good spots here because of that early tempo. Remember, this was a team who started all the way south by tree.
I'm trying to think to myself, like, what kind of interesting plays are we going to be able to see with that Revenant? Like, are we going to see some interesting, like, banner grabs? Like, maybe get a little risky by dropping that totem going in? Like, besides just aping with that ultimate, what are we going to see out of Revenant? I guess we'll have to hold off because Cobra chickens, they ain't running like chickens. They are actually striking like the Cobras they are, chasing a team over toward the tunnel side, even taking a bit of back shots, though. It looks like Cobra chickens have to drop the wall. They thought they were chasing one, but now they might just be in a bit of a sandwich right now, and they're not the bread.
Hey man, I'll tell you what, I like it crispy here, and for the Cobra chickens, they like to keep it just as hot as we need. Problem though, they are pinched. Tiny Tawan already officially down. Lo-Fi Colt gonna take the time here to get that full bat off, but Poker Dog is done and dusted at the hands of Netty's Mastiff. Now with only one remaining member and a team already arriving, the minute you throw that one down, I see that Revenant. It is none other than, yeah, buddy, coming in with the totem, but from behind, they're pinched as well.
It looks like a Revenant player goes down quickly, so yeah, buddy, having to play this off as a duo, that Revenant does end up getting thirsted, so yeah, buddy, quickly changing their option, going for a little bit of a longer rotate. They're going to be backing down and looking to change their plans just a bit here. Hopefully, they don't run into another team, which we see some more action going. Hold on, we're not done, Zephyr. We are not done.
I don't think we're done, but we're definitely taking our time at this point here. I feel like it is a death sentence to play this one out directly within Geyser. And for My Girlfriend Left Me Esports, they're going to take their time and, well, I mean, maybe not as slow as I was expecting, but MSL, they disappear just as quickly as they appear here. And to be honest, for My Girlfriend Left Me, this is the perfect scenario. They not only get to take advantage of some of the drops from this one team, but everyone who competed in, hey, potentially more, Nemesis in hand, major cracks found, and they are now stuck in the middle of, I believe that's the vault room.
Love the way my GF Left Me are playing right now. The moment they get those easy damage, the moment they get that crack, they are taking space immediately, getting rid of that jump pad. Now the R99 shot angles coming out of Burger Boy. That extra damage is so valuable. We see, and not only they're not only confident with trapping this team in this room, but even looting up a little bit, waiting for some nades, and hold on, we might see some kidnapping action right into the fray, and that's gonna be it for Solidarity. We're down to 10 squads.
And I'm so sad that we see Solidarity go out so early there. I was excited. We got the jump pad dropped down there at the very, very early end, and then at the end of the day, that was it.
What?
How did they not hear that? Oh my gosh, they did not hear the syringe.
No shot. No shot. That to me, that's an equipment problem. If you don't hear the syringes coming off, you got to get yourself some Astro, some Logitech, some Skull Candy, maybe a Samsung or something. You need to get yourself something. That's an equipment problem I've ever seen. What our Mirage player somehow staying alive in the storm despite being right behind enemy lines, doing everything can to rat it out until the very end.
Brock, guys, I mean, at the end of the day, they're playing, though, not the dead side of our zone, so they've got a lot of distance to cover as this rat, just to stay within it. For now, we're going to look at EK2, another team that continues to warp the meta that we look for. Not just a single difference, but two here. The Pathfinder, I'd say a little bit of the comfort on that skirmisher, but the Newcastle, bringing in the defensive boy himself, the man, the myth, the legend. Tony, you have no idea how bad I want to see you in a Newcastle cosplay.
I could pull it off. I promise you I can. Yeah, get me a couple of shields, and honestly, I really am a fan of having any kind of support legend, especially Newcastle. It's a high skill floor when you're talking about playing with Newcastle, but if you can master him, he can be so good offensively, defensively. He's a lot more versatile than people think, but Deadly UNCS are pushing up heavy. They see the Newcastle wall, they see the rest coming in, and they are not gonna allow them to reset.
It's the perfect legend to get resets like that off here. Now for Deadly UNCS, they've got to contest with more than just the one squad here. A big separation from this team, especially with Flixen being so far back doesn't bode well for its bond there. But hey, Rolling Thunder, maybe this extra off angle from Flixen could be the recipe that they need to cook up their success.
Using that Rolling Thunder almost like a catalyst wall, like just creating that angle, blocking off that line of sight so they can get a beautiful one over towards the right-hand side. A wide swing coming out of Flixen. Looks like it's going to pay off, and now with these smokes blocking off the line of sight of your enemy, you want to push up, you want to get aggressive. This is where bad turns to worse for your opposition, is when deadly UNCS are pushing you, are pressuring, and really limiting your movement.
Try to get that one away with that Wraith Portal. I like the moves, but it's too drawn out there. Don't even get it the distance you need. As a result, we're talking 2 down here as we face both that Wraith as well. And that's going to be that quick wipe on Molten's Mania. And to be honest, Tony, there's not really much space for this roster to run any further here. Flixen, maybe a little bit distracted. Maybe some pop shots over there on the silo for now. But I wouldn't be surprised if maybe there's some investment later on to find that final rat.
Hey, Flix is a real simple guy. He's like myself. You see a player, you shoot a player. That's it. It's simple as that. You just put it down that damage, and it's really hard for a team to wipe you out when they're not full shields and they're forced to back down and ultimately heal up. So put down that damage onto everyone you see. I'm not mad. Meanwhile, I'm also really happy with this overlook position that's coming in. We're seeing on that circle, it's really starting to pull over towards overlook. We talked about it earlier. This is going to be a really good spot. Great loot, great place to zone teams out, and now we're seeing that positioning really pay dividends here on the overlook side of the map.
Now, I'll tell you what, there is still so much space, though, within Overlook to find yourself a spot, even with the 9 squads remaining. But I'll tell you what, when I do that math, I don't really count 9 squads remaining. We should be seeing 27 players in the lobby, but we're only hitting up to 19. Realistically, I mean, we're talking about a decimation of so many 3-mans that are out there that I'd be surprised if we have even 4 still left standing here to compete for the rest. And the Lennies, they're one of them. That's this team that has those silos in play. They have the direct Overlook POI as their home right now, but they're looking to move. They're actually rotating out in a way here, maybe trying to see if they can gatekeep some of this action.
I love this strategy. You know, anybody who has a controller composition probably knows where this next zone is to be pushing in, and they want to get in there, especially for our zone-heavy teams. So they're pushing that edge of the circle and really zoning teams out, and like you said, gatekeeping anybody from getting into any position that ultimately they want to get into. Capture the, not flag, the lag coming in. They're trying to find their way into this inner circle, find themselves over towards the edge, but with 1 minute and 32 seconds on the clock, they have plenty of time to really map out their route.
Well, I don't know if they're going to be mapping anytime soon. At the end of the day, I mean, there's not a lot of time to make it happen. 1 minute till next zone close here for so many of these teams. Capture the lag. They're going to take advantage where they see fit. Something that isn't discussed here between us is the fact that climbing up towards Overlook, you're talking about high ground disadvantage. The minute you come past that ridge line towards that western angle, so many of these rosters that have been waiting are going to see what little kind of pot shots or maybe easy knocks that they can take. Champs Jumps will find themselves eliminated. We're down to 7 squads remaining.
Yeah, luckily for Capture the Lag, they do have a bit of a composition advantage when playing towards that edge, but you know, like you kind of alluded to, like it's going to be tough for them to try to gain any space. They're going to need to get max value out of that catalyst wall and the Bangalore smokes, but hold on. High risk, high reward, and you got to stay on the map. Wait, what did I just see, Zephyr?
Well done, dusted. I don't know if you're going to find revives like that. For Queen Clasher, though, they got other problems right here. Stuck between both angles and quite literally stuck at the place of an Arc Star. The Lennies, we saw them walk away, but they're just as quick to fight for position back in. Problem, though, IWK is done and dusted. No longer an available option for this roster. What was the strongest 3-man piece? Now relegated to a duo.
flying right off the bat, man. He really is just like me. That's a play. That's a Tony play if I ever seen one. Meanwhile, Capture the Lag, they're slowly inching their way into that circle, playing the high ground. I'm wondering if we have a little bit of a cake here. I wonder if there's a team that's holding right below them. But either way, they're feeling comfortable. R3O one shot starting to connect. You got the information that your opposition does have a bit of red shields, which is going to be tough to deal with. And yes, we do have a bit of that cake, but I only see 3 men up top on the roof. And whenever they're ready, they can drop down and deal with this team that they're ultimately coexisting with.
Stuck in this place. It's going to be hard. Inshallah and the crew, we'll see if they can make their way out, but they will be the first tracked here. Meanwhile, silos do provide some extra, I'd say, power pressure for the team on them, but at the end of the day, potentially also be their own weakness. The Lennies, they're locking themselves in. they are bunkering down to see where they can survive.
I'm not gonna lie to you, Zephyr. When I first heard Catalyst coming in, I saw the abilities. I thought they were interesting, but to be honest with you, I didn't really think about how versatile and how valuable a good Catalyst is. Like, you can really hold teams out and frustrate any teams that are ultimately trying to get aggressive on you. That wall for those micro rotations can be huge in isolating gunfights. Catalyst really is such a strong legend. I'm actually kind of ashamed of myself for not seeing the value right off the rip, because I would honestly say that Catalyst might be one of the most important legends to any composition here in competitive play.
Deadly UNCS, though. Let's see if they can break down some of those walls, break down some of that cover. The closest team across from that defense, they actually don't have a lot of options in terms of actually capitalizing on a situation like that. The Bloodhound Pathfinder really are just kind of tempoed aggression, right? Kind of getting in the face of so many of these teams, and then obviously delivering on that KP. In terms of breaking down defense, playing for cover, kind of forcing their way inside, they don't have the Wombo combo. I mean, their most aggressive tool is, say, that of the Rolling Thunder, and we both know how much that can really provide.
Can we talk about Deadly UNCS and how they're playing these cylinders? They're normally really tough because you're out in the open. That height advantage is nice, but once a team or two really get an angle on you, it can be tough. But you have the Pathfinder zip lines to kind of hop from one place to another, go down, but get right back up to continue that constant pressure that you want to see. You even have a Bangalore to kind of smoke things out in case things get really tough, so you can get that extra temporary cover. I will say that we talked about the composition, especially when having a Pathfinder in competitive, but it might just be perfect for the situation that they're in.
I don't know if it's perfect, but I mean, they're gonna have to make it work. All right.
They're making it work, though. They're making it work.
For now, we're gonna have to see who pays out in the end. I like this though. Capture the plant though. They gotta make moves, right? Stuck on the top of that roof. I expected them to play for space, play for something far earlier. It is left up to some Narian as this final resultant horizon literally stuck in the single pixel of safety from above here. The Lennies from below. You got up on top with the silo. Everyone's trying to see if they can get their piece of the action there.
And so it's tough trying to rat it out. You're trying to stay alive as long as possible on that roof. Like I said, just a sliver of being within the zone, and then your teammate gets thirsty, so now there's no chance for you to even get them up. And like you said, the Lennies doing a great job. They've been turning lemons into lemonades as playing as a duo and making it work, but haven't quite found a way into the zone. And I'm wondering, are they being held out? You're seeing our Seer player just trying to gather as much information as possible to try to find out where's the safest route, when's the correct timing to push in. And looks like they make it right under UNCS, and that's going to play really well for Lennies. They'll be able to rat it out for a bit and obviously pick and choose when they want to participate within the damage battle.
Coming out late, though, they could be tracked. And to be honest, look at this positioning. From this spot, Deadly UNCS, I'm worried about the lack of cover, but at the end of the day, I mean, in terms of the decision-making and when they are forced to drop, I mean, they are free. A lot of these silos, a lot of this extra height is literally in till the very, very end. And that's why you see them racking up KP after KP. The minute you see, yeah, buddy, fly out from below, they are taken down in tow. Totem Plant and crew, as much as they've survived as this duo, they are at a complete disadvantage positioning.
3v2 scenario, Deadly UNCS know they have the advantage. They played it perfectly. They allowed them to rad when they dealt with that third and ultimately final team before our final battle, and now they're just making use of the smokes and the Digi-Threat combination. They even have a Bloodhound to get that intel as well. I can't imagine Deadly UNCS wasting this opportunity. Tip Top ends up getting knocked. As much as you try to hide behind that shield, you can't hide forever. Deadly UNCS are taking game number 1.
For Deadly UNCS, it is a well-deserved victory. Like you said, Tony, we got to see them compete out of no name and take squad after squad here. And the fact of the matter is, I loved the way that they did adapt to how they played the silos out, controlled the rest of those teams there, and felt like they just had this choking grip on what anybody could do.
I said it before, like when we first were watching them over towards the mid game. I love the way they play. They just play great fundamental Apex. Well, from all the way back towards that vault, we saw them trap a team over towards there. And even having the awareness of picking up that frag that was randomly on the ground and being able to utilize that while that team was trapped in, love that. Love the fact that the moment they get those cracks, they immediately start to take space, start to take real estate. They don't allow you to breathe. They're patient with the way that they go for that early damage, but once they get it, they make sure that they're quick. You're never going to reset when you're playing against Deadly UNCS because they're not going to allow you. Nothing is free when going up against them. You have to earn every last bit of shield opportunity.
You can see here, they finish out the lobby
God.
strong. It is not just the big dub there, the 12 points, 15 KP. We talk about that. That means 5 of our squads fell to the hands here of a lobby that's not even full. That is an absurd amount for them and something that should very likely carry them through the rest of today, even if they, I don't know, turn off a monitor or two or go take a lunch break.
And I'm hungry. I ain't gonna lie to you. I'm right there with you. After a game like that, you could take a break, but something tells me Deadly UNCS aren't gonna do just that. Because hey, this is valuable learning experience and whatnot. How you want to take on multiple different teams and multiple different scenarios. At Apex, with all these compositions, you can get thrown, you get so many things thrown at you. So see these different engagements, see these different situations, and find out how you want to address them, even if you're top dog and seem like you're pub stomping within the lobby.
For those of you who maybe want to learn how to pub stomp more, maybe find some friends to potentially pub stomp among maybe some of your Canadian fellow representatives, join the Discord here at the TELUS Esports Series 3, where you can link up, compete, and even win some prizing alongside a fantastic community. When we come back from a break, we'll be bringing you the last game of World's Edge, so stick around and stay tuned.
Is that a phone? That thing's a gaming machine. Is that Faker? Everyone, fasten your seatbelts. And here we go.
This dead off drop. They are bunkered in Stormcatcher, playing things safe.
To see the ballistic work here, but with Shanahan already down, a massive wrecking ball. Please, please.
Oh, Jesus. That was one of the most brutal things I've ever seen in Apex Legends. Just for damage, but instead to close the gap. Horizon Ult's going to break the initial reinforced door, and it looks like it's not going to be put back up again. Instead, dead off drop have dropped yet another Ting. Yarki on the seer even, just popping inside. Bello going to take down one for right now, and confidence with the R9 brings him to an almost solo wipe of the Canadian Demons. And the Brick lads sit right in between both of these teams. Horizon Ultimate going to expose Duck Tenna for a little while, but Mello makes sure to cover with the R99 from a distance. Luminosity go down, and the Brick lads are your champions.
2v3 situation now. Avasa and Mando are set up on the interior here, gonna hold on for dear life, and you gotta turn around. You have to aim at least. You gotta do something.
The Meno Knights fall one by one. One final individual.
Brick lads are looking to make short work of this.
All right, well, we're going up. Let's see who's going down. Brick lads pick up their second victory in a row. Scarlet coming through. Zerbo gonna have to back up. That's a 90 with the PK. What did I say about this guy? Puts the demon in Canadian Demons. He's gonna drop down once more with a drop kick out of the sky. Luminosity have just fallen apart in the face of the Bricked lads, but these are the two players that made it happen, and now they've got a very small corner, but still one that could work them into the end game. Mello's not going to be a part of this, but you drop into zone, and Doc swoops in like a hawk, picking up Niche, and they can get a 2 versus 2. The flank around the side, and Brick lads take their third game in a row.
When I first heard about the TELUS Esports Series, I was like, there's no way.
I was absolutely stoked. You don't really hear about esports at all in Canada, let alone from a big company like TELUS.
Canada does have a scene, and we do have people who are thriving towards getting us into that bigger picture.
2 versus 1, and it should be their game. The Bronze Bonobos from second, now finally find first.
Simply put, the TELUS Esports Series is esports for everyone. It's our take on what we think the esports industry should look like and where we think it should go. It's way more fun to compete for something when there's something on the line. And the TELUS Esports Series gives players of all skill levels opportunities to experience that. We really want to make the gaming experience more fun for everyone, and we want to help the gaming industry evolve and grow the way that it should. And I think the time is right for it.
World's Edge.
World's Edge.
World's Edge. That's it. I'm a Wraith main. I love World's Edge. I love my buildings.
World's Edge.
World's Edge, of course. I'm a caustic main. R301.
The flatline does so much damage. The hip fire is insane. Now it's 10 times better than the R301. Definitely the flatline.
R3.
Flatline.
R301 every day of the week.
Oh, 100% the card.
Volt.
That's tough. Car.
Car.
I'm gonna have to go with the Volt. 3x on the 301, the Hemlock, or the Charge Rifle.
2x Bruiser.
2 times Bruiser.
2 times HCOG.
The 2 to 4 is insane. It used to be the 3 times, but now it's a 2 to 4.
I like the Assault class.
Assault.
Oh, Wraith. Oh, my baby girl, she got a buff, and the animations with her hands look so good. I was like, oh my god, they spoiled her. I was so happy.
I'd definitely say Controller is my favorite, mainly because I am a caustic main.
Probably the controller. I'm more of a zone type player as well as an anchor, so the control would be great for me.
Welcome back to the TELUS Esports Series 3. If you're just joining us, we came off of an excellent start to the day on World's Edge as we saw none other than our friends. Let me bring it up. I gotta pull this one back up. The deadly UNCS walk away with their victory. I'm Zephyr. That's Tony.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about it. We complimented them through the early game into the mid game, and then once the end game was done, they had 15 kill points to their name on top of a fat dub. And it makes me think, like, you know, with them being top dogs in the lobby, who else going to be able to contend for that first place spot? Because after that first game, they really set the tone, really set the pace for how the rest of the series is going to go.
And the big question is, can they replicate? Right? I know we're all excited, top dog, biggest in the lobby right now, but what I'm looking at, more importantly, I don't care if they walk into it with 0 kills or 15, but those wins, because that's what's really going to count. When we make our way to the very, very end of the TELUS Esports Series 3, when you are stuck fighting for your life in that match point format, the only thing that's going to get you out of that hole is a win here. Now, we got to see that yesterday with WKK and, of course, the Canadian Demons always replicating their success. I'm looking for this narrative in the intermediate lobby. Can deadly UNCS prove that they are not just dominant, a great fighting team, smart and with it, but but also one that can consistently develop wins.
And to kind of piggyback of where you were coming from, especially for some of our newer viewers, when we talk about the wins only mattering, like obviously kill points are crazy, 15 kills, that you get to match that with placement points. But when we talked about that match point format, once you get to 50 points, at that point, you have to win the game in order to win the tournament when we get to those finals and the semifinals. So literally the only thing that will matter, like you said, is that win once you reach match point. And that's where I'm good. I can get a lot of kills, I can do my thing. I'd be charged rifling up, and if you get up close, man, my R99, it'd be connecting. But winning, I don't know if my macro is quite there just yet. I need a good IGL like you, Zeph.
I don't know, man. We'll link up at some point here. They need to be offering the TELUS Esports Series 3 for a man like me. But at the end of the day, I am more than happy for our Canadian brethren to take this one away any chance they get. As for us, though, we're still the spectator. We are still the watcher in the sky here. The, I would say, unbiased observer as we make our way into this next game. Is there anyone else you kind of like to highlight when we came out of that last match? I know we talk a lot about the UNCS Deadly Boys, but who stood out to you? Who's a favorite?
There was a team that was running not only console players on controller, because you already know I love me some controller action. I got one right next to me, you already know. But then on top of that, little bit of Revenant, and I always love upsetting the meta or redefining it. And when I think of how I'm gonna get a little crazy here, when I think about how strong these legends are, especially when I think of the Bangalores and the Catalyst and some of these get out of jail free cards and how players will play through their abilities, I think at some point Revenant will become a hard counter to the meta and really bring teams kind of grounded. Imagine 3 controller players that are just nothing but fighting up close and personal, mid-range, close range, and then you try to get away from them and you lose your abilities because of that Revenant silence. I'm just saying, I think at some point Revenant is going to become the anti-meta.
Tony, the tinfoil hat, coming out of here, the cooking, I don't know what, it's better be ice with the Revenant. I'll tell you what, as much as I love it, it is getting a rework. So who knows? I mean, we are shifting what is going to be the capabilities of that legend. And it may be recognizable, it may not, but for the buddies, as you like to make mention of them, we'll see if they keep playing this one out. They did finish top 4 last time around. For the Deadly UNCS, though, Nemesis at the crown of Bond.
And ultimately, this is where you're going to be tested, because we see what happens when they had the momentum on their side, but now immediately dropping one player, Bloodhound, one of your more valuable fighters, at least when gaining intel. Now what happens when you're forced to play as a duo? Are you going to back down? Are you going to still get aggressive? You try to play for the res or the banners? How are Deadly UNCS going to play it?
This is just rough, because that's it as well. Corey getting that full wipe means that there's no revive in store here. Mind you, it seems like we've got a bit of a mixed kind of lobby in terms of the staging area, because I ain't seen no Corey to be found there, so potentially something from that landslide side as being the bane here. Deadly UNCS, I mean, they got to find a knock, something to come back into this.
You do ultimately have one player with the purple shield, so Flixen can get aggressive with that Nemesis, get a crack like they're looking for, and ultimately collapse on this team. But hold on, Solidarity, they're thinking 1-2 steps at this, and this battle really doesn't mean anything in the macros, so they're gonna be happy. They're gonna be happy with their damage, happy with their loot, and they're rotating away despite having the advantage of the 3v2.
They don't know that, though. Corey's the one that finds the knock from Shadow Assassin, so they think that's a 3-man with height. I completely respect the decision, but if they had only known. For Cobra Chickens, though, taken down to a duo. I think they're even matching up against a duo here. We'll have to take look and notice, but at the end of the day, running for the hills, not really looking to take this step back towards them, and as a result, it's going to give Lo-Fi Cult the opportunity to actually get Poker Dog back into it.
This is the scariest team in the lobby. I'm both afraid of chickens and cobras. So I couldn't even imagine what a cobra chicken would look like. I'd be terrified. I really would. The pecking, the striking, I don't know. Zeph, I don't know.
as I do not either, Tony. At the end of the day, you lost me on that one, but I can imagine some mythology for the Cobra Chickens to see where they can lay in their strike or peck towards. I can only imagine what remains of this duo now. They got a lot more coming towards them. What lays in wait in the Skyhook area is more than just a duo. We got multiple squads that have set themselves up here. Oh, hey, Deadly UNCS, they got their team back up.
Yeah, it was really good for them that their opposition, or at least their immediate opposition, did rotate away, and with that, they were able to get that res off. And now I'm a little bit worried because I imagine Bond doesn't have much as far as utility-wise. You see the white shields, but I imagine as far as weapons and utility, it's really quite low. But now you're kind of approaching Harvester. Maybe this is where you loot up. Maybe this is where you get right back into the action and get off this 30-30 sentinel combination, because nobody wants to be on that.
It's a rough spot to behold, and to be honest, with the pace of this lobby, there is a lot of room, though, for Bond to pull this one back together if they get the chance. So, obviously, we'll have to see. Some slight difficulties here on the back end for just a moment, as my boy Pathfinder is as slow as they get.
How dare you? Come on, they buffed him. He's going further and faster than ever now. Are my Pathfinder mains? Like, come on now, show a little respect to the Pathies. Come on.
Hey, I respect Pathy as much as anyone else here, but at the end of the day, that zipline is a terrifying thing for me, especially as not a player. I don't feel threatened, but as a coach in IGL, my ability to succeed feels threatened, all right? Something like that zipline feels like a whole wealth of problems. I mean, in certain situations, I mean, I say what I say, but I mean, Deadly UNCS, they made it work. They made it look good on silos. They had both of them set up on high ground last time around. They were zipping between them, so I'm a man who can be convinced, ultimately.
I'd say it's that constant pressure. You know, you hop in on one silo, you come in on the other, you put damage onto it, and then once you get cracked, you zip right back down, heal up, and then zip right up to high ground. It happens so fast. A lot of teams, they aren't able to capitalize on that damage. And that's my type of strat, Zephyr. But you know, maybe once we get to the semis or the finals, strategies like that may not work as well as in lobbies like this.
Wow. Speaking of our lobby, we're gonna pull this one away, and when we come back, hopefully we'll be joining again. If not, we'll see you for at least our third match of the day. Stick around and find out. All right, welcome back to the TELUS Esports Series 3. I think we had some rats potentially chewing on them Apex cables behind the scenes, but we took care of them. A couple eliminations, and we are back in it. Now, to confirm, I believe this will be counted as that second game here as we readjust World's Edge. So, whatever happened for any one of our squads, it's a soft reset. I mean, back to the drawing board, make some decisions, but hey, you'll still be joining it alongside myself, and of course, why not?
And just to remind you guys what happened ultimately in that game number 1, it was Deadly UNCS that came out with the 15 eliminations and the big win. Lenny's not too far behind them, not that far. 4 eliminations, and then also getting second place, so definitely within striking distance. And of course, yeah, buddy, rocking that Revenant in number 3. They had 1 elimination, but it was still good enough for them to get a top 3 finish. So watch out for those 3 squads and anyone else who's ready to make some waves within this game number 2.
I will say, because of though our issues in that last game, it's kind of led our teams into a system of safety, right? Any mistakes that they did make, they now know absolutely with surefire results that they can come out on top this turn time around. But I will say that the plant already finding a drop, I believe, somewhere towards that kind of monument area, might be saying otherwise. I am shocked that if you get the full reset and you know where the rest of the lobby dropped, if you are still taking contests, I don't know what's happening.
I mean, it's Apex, baby. You got to get ready. You got to get in. And hold on. This our favorite rat. I love how the name is Brock, guys, and it's just one player. Like, this is Brock Guy that we're looking at right now. Confident enough to be running Mirage even in this lobby, and was good enough to get 5th place, making sure that he loots up. I don't know why. I don't know how much fighting he plans on doing. Like, just chill out. You can find a spot and just chill out.
A Brock guys, a single man can constitute many, especially when you are representing the one and only Brock there. I will say we do see one team drop dead here, at least in the initial start, Shadow Assassins, which I do find that interesting because Shadow Assassins, at least in our last iteration of World's Edge before we came down, were the squad that kind of put a pin in Deadly UNCS in the very, very early game. Corey was that man to find that drop afar, and sadly, that just ain't the case this time around. They're going to have to see how they can reevaluate the game that is Apex when we look towards Storm Point.
And speaking of teams outside of the top 5 that you want to watch out for, in addition to Shadow Assassins, you also have My GF Left Me, who finished with 5 eliminations. Still switched the composition just a little bit. No longer running Wraith right now, but still 5 eliminations. If they can make it towards an end game, they might be able to pose a threat to Deadly, not Unks, but UNCS.
Now they did make a change here. They ain't gonna be working with the Wraith, right? And I am surprised. I mean, that is kind of your best fragging comfort pick-in. Still has some versatility in the current meta, but taking the reins on something a little bit more tempoed, a little bit more usual, right? That Seer Valkyrie Bangalore is something that we have seen time in, time again here, at least over the last 3 to 6 months. And I mean, it has provided, so we'll get to check it out. I am a little worried though. We are super duper close to the man, the myth, the legend, Brock guys. I heard that zip line from behind. He got to keep moving.
But he has the equipment. He knows what's happening. He able to use them Astros, Logitech, Skull Candy, and of course that Samsung Galaxy S23 to make sure that he's hearing the chasers coming in and able to relocate. The problem is he relocated right into another team. It was a Brock sandwich, and eventually Brock guys not able to make it into top 5 like we saw in game number 1, eliminated quite early, but he also might have just started a whole new fight against 2 very capable teams.
Hey, if you can't be winning it, you better be starting something here. For My Girlfriend Left Me Esports, they are tracking, but that's always scary in the face of a Revenant Totem. You know you got time, and you got to be careful here. They found at least 1 return back, but Temp is always happy to deliver the knocks where they count here. Burger Boy looking low, Molten Mini from the opposite side. A knock onto A Bob here, and 1 last remaining member as we send Yeah Buddy out in 12th.
Well played by My GF Let Me. Was Yeah Buddy that finished in just 3rd place in game number 1, but we talked about it. Watch out for My GF Left Me. 5 frags in that first game, and now looking to even beat that out here in game number 2 and ultimately climb the leaderboard.
It's a huge win for My Girlfriend Left Me Esports, and we know they have the potential to take 3v3s, right? I mean, you make mention of the 2nd highest KP in that previous lobby. The question is, how do they address it this time around? The fact that they're not working with a Wraith leads me to believe that they are going to be searching, right? Looking for those kind of side paths, those edge play options, so that even if they aren't placing towards the top, they can win the way that they know how here. Rat's Den, Cobra Chickens, Capture the Lag, all coming to coalesce here on our train line.
And you got triple purple shields going up against double blues and whites. This is not looking good for Cobra Chickens at the moment, but a shield battery gets Poker Dog right back into the action. G7 Scout is out. Oh, with a burst fire action, forced them back down. Meanwhile, his teammates are losing shields left and right. They got to be careful because if they get cracked, they can get pounced on. It looks like that's exactly what happened. So Poker Dog immediately dropping the catalyst wall, going right towards his balloon, looking to relocate. Will they be chased down?
No. You ain't got to chase him down when you got something that can clown from distances like that. Bringing him out, it's left to Poker Dog to survive and, well, bring home what may count for the Cobra Chickens there. I'm shocked that we saw that, though. I love the Dark Veil. It's a fantastic defensive tool from Catalyst, but it ain't covering a whole balloon. I mean, you ain't, once you get past that 15-foot mark, I mean, I guess, I mean, it's rotational, but the tracking is still something that will always be a threat there for them. I don't have a simple answer. You've got EK2 right above you now on the bridge ahead.
That wall may stand tall, but it is not tall enough to cover you from a balloon. The one thing I will say about Cobra Chickens, though, is I love the fact that the moment something happens, they immediately reacted to it. They didn't hesitate. And once their player went down, you have like a split second to find out, how are you going to play this? Are you going to get aggressive and try to play the 2v3 because you have some kind of advantage, at least one of the players, or are you going to react, get defensive, and get out? It looks like, you know, in a fight or flight situation, they decided to flight out, but it was good enough to at least allow one of their players to survive and rat it out and get better places to the end. So great job for quickly reacting, and you know, like we kind of talked about in game number 1, trying to turn, you know, lemons into lemonade.
Lemons into lemonade here, a sweet treat for any one of our teams, and the deadly UNCS, they love their sweets here. NMSL already taken out, and they're gonna keep tempo with the rest of this lobby as it, I mean, continues to assume even further success here. Burger Boy, Temp, and Molten's Mania once again taking their second fight here. I was about to say they were evening it up with UNCS, but I mean, they continue to pick up that.
They're feeling so confident fighting over toward this geyser in the tunnels area. They might be slightly outside of the ring, but they got a minute and 23 seconds to work with, so go ahead and craft up, go ahead and loot up. Make sure that you are fully loaded, because it will get harder from here with just 8 squads remaining, and all of them being, most of them being fully loaded.
For my girlfriend left me esports, though, I mean, it is the best situation. You now have the loot of 2 squads, the full crafter, and now you can start to address that zone. You are coming in as the late rotating squad in possibly the best possible position out of any other team there. You can spy just across from them, a little bit further over towards the west. Deadly UNCS here, making the cross towards that bridge, and could very well potentially come up right behind them if they're not careful. They're taking that balloon across, and I mean, it is going to be an absolute battle of the titans here if they manage to spot each other out.
And it looks like they're starting to move up quickly,
Oh, no.
so we will end up seeing a fight. Temp is coming up quickly, though, over towards Burger Boy,
Mania?
but now the shots are coming out, and you're going to find out the hard way that deadly UNCS are on the prowl.
And this has been such a good start for my girlfriend left me, but for Deadly UNCS, literally in just a simple timing advantage, get the capitalization on a team that is quite literally left split there. Burger Boy and Temp on one side, Molten's Mania on the other. Notably, your Seer, the person who is supposed to be that kind of warning, that signal that says, we got a lot more coming. I like this, though. They pull him back towards Geyser. It might give Temp the chance to rotate back, and potentially, with the extra crawling, the movement that Burger's been providing, a slight revive. UNCS, though, they are coming quick. I know it.
And right before going for the res, we look like we drop a Phoenix kit quickly for our teammate to get right back into the action. But with that Bloodhound scan, it means I gotta leave you behind real quick. So Burger Boy might end up being knocked again. Temp being shredded from the skies and taken down immediately. And once again, my GF left me down to a duo.
Sadly, this time around, we know for a fact that Temp ain't going to be surviving like we saw previously. Bond, obviously investing in making sure they get that KP. For Burger Boy, it's really no better here. Stuck to chase up against a hill that's got little to no cover. Dance as you may, but you are right back into zone. And as it starts ticking, I mean, thankfully, Syringe will come through. You are safe. But this is a chunk of health that you are constantly losing on a chase that is never ending.
Forced to relocate once again. Like you said, you are in the storm and really feeling uncomfortable right now. Round number 3 starting in just 2 minutes, and I don't know what they're gonna do here. Once they finished off a little bit earlier than expected in that game number 1, especially with the skills that they bring, and now you're being gate kept out. Every entrance coming into the circle is being watched by Deadly UNCS. Options are limited, but my GF left me. They got to make something happen.
The problem is Deadly UNCS, they know, right? You want to go back for banner? Great. Bond and SL Boyka are waiting for you on that exit, and they immediately find that one out. So literally, now stuck between both of these positions, and there's really no best option because of this Pathfinder. The choice that I was kind of making fun of earlier, they literally have a super far, long-distance zip line set up between both of these chokes. They literally cannot lose. The minute they get any inkling of information, it's an immediate rotation, a follow-through, and then suddenly the wipe.
Yeah, it's almost like in basketball. Like a simple crossover is real simple. You fake left and go right. That's ultimately all that my GF left me can really do. But with that zip line, you're able to put pressure onto both sides, like having almost like a wide stance, if you will. You can watch the left entrance and then it quickly goes to the right. So you are literally stuck within the storm. As Deadly UNCS, they're not forgetting about you. They're not letting you go. But at this point, when you're trapped against a corner and you have to fight, that's when we see what you're truly made of, and shredding the shield of Boyk. And now we're seeing Deadly UNCS start to get aggressive. The Bloodhound ult is popped, and through the smoke they go.
Now, I'm pretty sure that banner has now officially been recovered here with that slight moment of action. A bit of the peek on the outside for Boyko to be taken low just as well as Bond and Flixen need to find semi-response on duo action. A rip around the side, and finally the knock onto Molten's Mania might seal them in their tomb here. A color break, and My Girlfriend Left Me Esports are officially eliminated in 7th. I'll tell you what, they bit down hard. They did not let go. They were like rabid animals from UNCS Deadly.
Deadly UNCS showing that patience is not just a virtue, it is a weapon that they wield perfectly to hold that team within the zone, wait till the last moment to ultimately strike, getting that last bit of KP that you know they want. I mean, they dropped 15 just last game. Meanwhile, Lenny's finishing up the rest of those chumps, not champs, eliminated down to 5 squads remaining. Luckily for my GF left me, nothing creates a better gym bro. Like, nothing creates a better competitor than the face of adversity. So their GF left them. They obviously dove into esports and got better and better. Now you just got eliminated again in 7th place, lower than you expected. So what's going to happen? They're going to get stronger through adversity. I mean, I promise you, this game 3 my GF left me is going to be even stronger than we saw in the first 2.
It might be bad, but at least they get the KP. I'll tell you what, though, for the Rat's Den, even as a duo, you can only truly last for so long there. Kimchi Scissor spotted out on the balloon. A little bit of a wall bounce will find returns for Fulgorin, but at the end of the day here, Capture the Lag have just too many numbers to handle. Still, though, all of those shots have still provided a perfect opportunity for none other than our friends to, well, arrive, find damage down, some Narian low, and now they've got control of this height. Ooh!
Charge Rifle is charge rifling right now. Capture the Lag down to a duo. Look in the zone. This team over toward the rock side. Excellent shots going in, but you're still playing as a twosome. And with, hold on, is that a Moby I just saw drop? So if they could manage to grab that banner, maybe we could see the mid-fight go for a res. That would be crazy.
They got it, but I mean, you are waving a flag upon the air, screaming, "That's what I'm doing here." And Bond and Flixen, they ain't gonna let it happen. Immediately arriving for that covered angle here. A big cross on the opposite side from Boyka. I mean, look at this head peek. Easily able to take advantage from height. They're gonna see if they can respond with their own gravity lift, but Boyka goes for the immediate turnaround as they still find Ketalo down. Now to your last remaining member, Stead and alive here. It's a bit of a whip on that last shot, but guaranteed with literally only the single cart as your defensive home. I mean, you might as well run into zone.
My gosh, talk about chasing that team to the very end. And with that, we are down to just 2 squads remaining, and we see Bond is ready to fight. Coming in quick with that Bloodhound ult does enough damage to allow his teammates to capitalize off it. The problem is they didn't have the numbers, and once again, we see our team coming out on top, just playing patient, playing towards that height, and making sure they hold out to the very end. That was beautifully played for our game 2.
Lenny's coming out with their victory here is kind of reminiscent out of what we saw from them when they were over at Overlook, right? They had early zone read, they played for positioning, and while they did kind of try to expand towards that edge and lose out on that one member, they still were the responding squad that ended up in that final fight here. This time around, they play a little bit slower. They say, we're not going to make the same mistakes. We're not going to dissuade all this kind of action and then find ourselves in a scenario where we're already at a disadvantage. Instead, they actually surprisingly still took the same amount of fights here as Deadly UNCS and then delivered the blow when it counted.
And that's really impressive because, I mean, Lenny's came into game number 1. They came in with that fire, but ultimately was only able to put up 4 eliminations where Deadly UNCS put up 15. This time around, like you said, they matching that same energy. They said, we can go toe-to-toe and blow for blow with you, and they proved it in that game number 2. Not only coming out with that 9 elims, but also coming out with the big win. And that's what, and like you said multiple times, that's what matters.
Well, it's something that now we have 2 horses upon our race as we make our way into the second half of the day here. And once again, I'll always be looking for that next win. As for us, though, in the broadcast, we're going to be taking this one to a short break. When we come back, we introduce Stormpoint into the mix.
Is that a phone? That thing's a gaming machine. Is that Faker? Everyone, fasten your seatbelts. And here we go!
Dead off drop. They are bunkered in Stormcatcher, playing things safe.
To see the ballistic work here, but with Shanahan already down a massive wrecking ball. Please!
Oh, Jesus. That was one of the most brutal things I've ever seen in Apex Legends. Just for damage, but instead to close the gap. Horizon Ult's going to break the initial reinforced door, and it looks like it's not going to be put back up again. Instead, Dead Off Drop have dropped yet another Ting. Yarki on the seer even, just popping inside. Bello going to take down one for right now, and confidence with the R9 brings him to an almost solo wipe of the Canadian Demons. And the Brick lads sit right in between both of these teams. Horizon Ultimate going to expose Duck Tenna for a little while, but Mello makes sure to cover with the R99 from a distance. Luminosity go down, and the Brick lads are your champions.
2v3 situation now. Ibaka and Mando are set up on the interior here. Gonna hold on for dear life, and you gotta turn around. You have to aim at least. You gotta do something.
The Meno Knights fall one by one. One final individual.
Brick lads are looking to make short work of this.
All right, well, we're going up. Let's see who's going down. Brick lads pick up their second victory in a row. Scarlet coming through. Zerbo gonna have to back up. That's a 90 with the PK. What did I say about this guy? Puts the demon in Canadian Demons. He's gonna drop down once more with a drop kick out of the sky. Luminosity have just fallen apart in the face of the Bricked lads, but these are the 2 players that made it happen, and now they've got a very small corner, but still one that could work them into the end game. Mello's not going to be a part of this, but you drop into zone, and Doc swoops in like a hawk, picking up Niche, and they can get a 2 versus 2. The flank around the side, and Bricked lads take their 3rd game in a row.
When I first heard about the TELUS Esports Series, I was like, there's no way.
I was absolutely stoked.
You don't really hear about esports at all in Canada, let alone from a big company like TELUS.
Nice work.
Canada does have a scene, and we do have people who are thriving towards getting us into that bigger picture.
2 versus 1, and it should be their game. The Bronze Bonobos from second, now finally find first.
Simply put, the TELUS Esports Series is esports for everyone. It's our take at what we think the esports industry should look like and where we think it should go. It's way more fun to compete for something when there's something on the line. And the TELUS Esports Series gives players of all skill levels opportunities to experience that. We really want to make the gaming experience more fun for everyone, and we want to help the gaming industry evolve and grow the way that it should. And I think the time is right for it.
World's Edge.
World's Edge.
World's Edge. That's it. I'm a Wraith main. I love World's Edge. I love my buildings.
World's Edge.
World's Edge, of course. I'm a caustic main.
R301.
The flatline does so much damage. The hip fire is insane. Now it's 10 times better than the R301. Definitely the flatline.
R3.
Flatline.
R301 every day of the week.
Oh, 100% the card.
Volt.
That's tough.
Car.
Car.
I'm gonna have to go with the Volt. 3x on the 301, the Hemlock, or the Charge Rifle.
2x Bruiser.
2 times Bruiser.
2 times HCOG.
The 2 to 4 is insane. It used to be the 3 times, but now it's a 2 to 4.
I like the Assault class.
Assault.
Oh, Wraith. Oh, my baby girl, she got a buff, and the animations with her hands look so good. I was like, oh my god, they spoiled her. I was so happy.
I'd definitely say Controller is my favorite, mainly because I am a caustic main.
Probably the controller. I'm more of a zone type player as well as an anchor, so the control would be great for me.
Welcome back to the TELUS Esports Series 3. We are still hot and with it when it comes to your favorite Apex action. We've had 2 fantastic games on World's Edge with both the Lennies and UNCS Deadly coming out as our victors here. But now we will finally answer who reigns supreme as we take it to Storm Point.
And I love me some Storm Point action. Like, everybody's so comfortable on World's Edge. Been there, done that, but there's a lot of teams that maybe aren't as good as adapting their game style onto a different map. And Storm Point is a lot different than going into World's Edge. A lot bigger. You have that giant POI where it's literally just a hill. Like, changing your composition, maybe even changing your weapon utility is going to be huge. And like I said, your best ability is your adaptability. So being able to adapt your strategies for World's Edge and be able to take it differently in Storm Point is going to be huge for every one of these teams.
Absolutely, and hopefully maybe it's something that they will find out in their own way here, as we will be reintroducing that. But we also want to introduce, of course, our own things supplied by, of course, TELUS Esports Series 3. We're talking about the TELUS-friendly Future Foundation. And obviously, you guys can tell we love giving back to you, not just in our prize pools and our Discord, but also as a community.
Yeah, the TELUS-friendly Future Foundation. At TELUS, we believe in giving back to our communities. The foundation connects you to a world of opportunities by supporting grassroots charities across the country. Be a part of the network that gives back. Help youth in Canada get a chance to connect to a world of opportunities by making a donation today. And just, all you gotta do yourself a favor, type in !TELUS-friendly Future Foundation in the chat, and you get a part of that.
Absolutely. And trust me, it's a fantastic cause. You guys can see what they're doing for us, the simple Apex community here out in Canada especially. And you can imagine they're doing so much more across the world as well. But I'll tell you what, we've got plenty more in store here, especially in at least our Esports Series 3. We're already on our way. Storm Point here. The flight has come through, not quite landed, but we've dropped all the boys off.
Here we are going into Storm Point, and I see a team landed in my favorite POI, which is Down the Beast, and that might work out well for them because a short rotation to checkpoint gets them in that circle, and I promise you, Down Beast, you'll get a ton of loot. You'll be ready for any fight that you may ultimately get into while approaching the border of that circle.
I'll tell you what, it isn't gonna be Storm Point without maybe a little bit of the chaos as well here. My girlfriend Friendly has already made their way on over, and EK2 have found them just across here. Now, if Fish Farms has become an absurdly strong POI over the last season or two, especially with the kind of changes we've seen between that IMC Armory and then what was the Mirage Etoile a little bit earlier on, but thankfully is now gone. Still, though, it's a fantastic place and isn't usually one that gets split up here, so girlfriend looking to see if they can get their weaponry all set in stone, because I know for a fact they're looking for the 3-on-3.
Love fighting here in Fish Farms. It's so much wide open space. As long as you can hit your shots, you can really punish your opponents for being out of position. And EK2 doing a great job of taking this power position over toward the backside. You got a lot of cover within this building that you can play off of, and already getting some cheeky shots with the longbow. That boy don't even need a sight. He's just connecting from across the map like it's nothing.
My man, iron sights on the longbow, looking for the single dot advantage here. But this is the thing I was going to point out. Okez, with this Black Market Boutique, puts this team in such a good position to potentially work their way into this fight. Now, granted, it doesn't look like they're going to be getting any shields off of it, but in terms of the weaponry and the setup, I mean, they're putting themselves on the best foot forward for this contest.
Looks like teams are starting to try to approach EK2, but as they're watching every single angle, whether it's a longbow or a sentinel charge up, they're going to make sure every team has an issue just barely missing out on the first shot. It looks like Bolton's Mania, he wants to take ground. He wants to take space and ultimately get as close as possible to this building. We're seeing the collapse now coming in from multiple sides as Temp is swinging wide left here, and it looks like EK2 might be in trouble now because the enemies have already repositioned. Goonie getting shredded down to one shot. Mokes being taken off of his high ground, and it looks like our Pathfinders are saying, you know what? I don't feel comfortable here. I'm heading down. Let me go for a quick little trick shot, and I'll see y'all later.
It does seem like we might be getting opposite response as well. Surprisingly, I see some shots come through in some form or fashion there, but still, it's a big loss. Mokez down here. Goonie down. This BG's got to find some way out as Burger Boy is officially chasing this one out. Oh.
And it looks like Burger Boy bouncing right back. EK2 being left to only this BG, our Pathfinder player, and luckily they do have a bit of support on there, so we can see a craft within getting our Loba and our Seer back, and maybe see EK2 get fully loaded a little bit later on. But with 14 squads remaining, it's going to be really tough for them to do that.
I will say you are right, though. Big open map. Opportunity for any kind of crafter with that Loba advantage, being a support legend. The big change they made, obviously, with the fact that now anyone on that team can craft the banners, will be hopefully what gets this BG and this roster back into action here. Granted, though, I believe the nearest crafter back towards Fish Farms or potentially Barometer, you're still going to be playing heavily within that zone if you want to source out your success. It ain't impossible, but I'll tell you what, with a map as big as Storm Point, Tony, it is hard.
Zone is closing in. That's going to force multiple teams that are widespread across the perimeter of this map to close in into a centralized location where maybe they could be held out. The same way I thought our team from Down Beast was going to be able to make it into checkpoint early is the same way if they take that route, they might just be held out by Tiny Twan and the gang. Zone closing in. This is one thing I love about Battle Royale. So you get comfortable, you can do what you want. You know, if you want to slowly, you want to do your thing, that's fine. But eventually, that storm is going to force you to fight. It's going to force you to be comfortable in the uncomfortable, and hopefully these legends are ready.
Hopefully they're ready, because at the end of the day here, Storm Point has the one facet to it where it's not just the kind of the choke that you talk about and the fact that we see these teams cram together. It's the fact that even when they are, usually say something like World's Edge, I mean, you turn tail, you've got a house nearby, you got a little bit of cover, you can make it potentially work. Storm Point is way more decisive when it comes to positioning. I mean, one bad move, one bad rotation, you are literally caught with nothing to work with. And even compositionally, there are only so many options that give you the actual defensive application to make those situations work here. So you've got to be smart. I mean, I think you've got to be even smarter than, say, in comparison to World's Edge and any other map here. And this checkpoint area that you love to mention, I think we're going to be seeing that as our source of our starting action. You got Cobra Chickens, yeah, buddy, and what we just saw, Shadow Assassins opting for the same choke.
And one thing I also love is a little bit of charge rifle action. I ain't gonna lie to y'all. I know some of y'all in the chat probably mad at me. Get over it. We got money on the line here, you know what I'm saying? Like $50,000 total across this event, specifically here at Apex, $20,000. I promise you I'm using a charge rifle. It's probably the best gun in the game. I don't care what anybody says.
Whew. Set up there, and you know, maybe, Tony, they'll find the snipes that be the damage that'll really make someone tucker down. And be honest, if I was someone on Stormpoint getting shot out by a charge rifle on at least a zone 1 or zone 2, I'd just leave. I wouldn't even take that kind of exchange. It's more than enough time. You rip a trident, you go for the long exchange, you're all the way around, and suddenly you are good to go here. Capture the lag. They're looking to slow things down, play edge where they can, see if they can gatekeep. There is still, yes, that option Stormcatcher up through Thunder Watch, but for now, I mean, it's a very tight rotation for them even still. We look at this kind of area where Solidarity is at, and I mean, look at that. That is your single choke. That is it. That is how you get to the eastern side of this zone.
They obviously have an advanced understanding of just that, so they're hey, if anybody wants to late rotate into them, they will be held down, and there'll be some free damage across the board for Solidarity, who kind of needed right now. They didn't exactly finish with an elimination in game number 2, although we saw that they were very capable and obviously had a great understanding of the macro, and even their micro was pretty good. So want to see Solidarity have a big bounce back game here in 3, and meanwhile, we want to see, yeah, buddy, make it towards the zone, so they take height, and we see ourselves a little bit of some jetpack action coming out of Valkyrie. I've barely been seeing that recent. The Valkyrie got nerfed with one of our most recent updates. I want to see more Valkyrie.
And on Stormpoint, you will. All right, at the end of the day, it is something that will develop in terms of just needing it to get around, to just move here. Meanwhile, though, it is our friends, our foes, Deadly UNCS. We had questions if they were as successful on Stormpoint. Well, you'll run right into the face of their muzzle if you're not careful here. Turn that down below. Point blank. Friends Forever will be eliminated at the hands. Look at that 30-30.
That's not how you treat friends right there. That is not how you treat friends, being sent right down to the lobby with 13 squads remaining, and you see the charge rifle shots coming in, so that means you know exactly where your next opposition is, and Deadly UNCS already have them within their sights. You see the pings down. Now the question is, will they choose to try to get aggressive on them, or maybe relocate and get to a different area? From what I've seen earlier, I think they might just play for them. They love getting kill heavy.
Absolutely, but I will say, Tony, I mean, I like kill heavy, but on Stormpoint, we go back to that positioning discussion. I mean, the fights are that much more punishing, right? And we look at this current position for them and where our zone's pulling. I mean, it is an uphill battle, right? And that's about as bad as it gets. Mokez, I was about to say caught out and down, but a bracelet saves the day. Hey, the Brock guys, they are actually guys now.
We finally see a full stack coming in from Brock guys, and this is the first so far here in this tournament. We haven't seen Brock guys fully loaded, so maybe they can go toe-to-toe with some of the best, like the Lennys, for example, who literally just won game number 2, as opposed to ratting it out like they've been forced to do for quite some time. We even see Apexy FPS swapping out from that Mirage, going get some Bloodhound, so I'm excited to see what the Brock guys are really made of.
Obviously there for the Brock guys, gotta be careful.
You gotta heal.
No. At this point, the timing's completely off. So your best bet is to just... I'm surprised I don't see them like chasing that one back out, but I am sure that there was that other squad there. So I think it might be just the sacrifice. Let it go. Work this one out as a duo. It's still better than a solo.
That's true. Even I learned that math too. It's more than one. Shadow Assassins coming in hot, putting some pressure down. R99 with the 2x. That to me is disgusting, might I say. I don't like it, but as long as you hit your shots, I guess it doesn't matter. Shadow Assassins holding this team out toward the zone, and then looks like they're taking height.
Straight into the face, though, of another team waiting in the wall here. Just barely do they find their return. Corey Anton sitting incredibly low as a result here, and this ain't good. What is supposed to be your confident rotation, the fact that you just held out a team, I mean, it comes up turn side here, and you can't rotate zone 3. And it is incredibly damaging and dangerous to try to go for a play like that. So instead, I hear some shots from above. That's a knock from Billy, and this might be your time to move in.
Yes.
Deadly UNCS with the wipe on Yeah Buddy, but they do it so clean, Tony. They literally only lose Boyka's shield. That is absurd.
Yeah, it looks like we didn't even have a chance to react to those gunfire. By the time they were ready to kind of push out, it was over, and it looks like, hold on, they actually are going for a long rotation in the zone. Like you said, round number 3 is going to be tough to do that, but hopefully they can do it early. Hopefully they can make it in. Otherwise, we may just be down to single-digit teams.
And the big problem there is they're rotating to the biggest side of the zone, so the minute they get through, they've got 40 seconds to, run past the wall area. Meanwhile, my girlfriend left me esports here against NMSL. This is an exchange that is also so far away from where you need to be. My girlfriend esports, they're finally let go in terms of this kind of coverage, and instead now have the perfect kind of height to fight this one out.
And we talk about how good their fighting is. They've got 7 eliminations in that game too. Didn't quite make it towards the end game, but I keep saying once they do, they are going to be a threat. With the nades going down, Jake Paul's down to 1 shot. Burger Boy's not going to advance forward. That's going to be huge damage going in. Burger Boy goes down, but his teammates are now coming in for the switch out. Peacekeeper hits, but he loses
1v1.
2. That's leaving him by himself. 1v1. Peacekeeper hits for 99. Goes right back in, but only catches the shield, and that's going to be it. Putting the shotty to the body. My GF left me, leaving NMSL in the lobby.
But here's the problem. You're set up in the face of a zone that is now coming in, whether you like it or not. Meanwhile, Deadly UNCS, we take our eyes off them for about 2 seconds, and they're already taking out another team here. Cobra Chickens, notably the squad that we saw Shadow Assassins push out towards that northern end. Deadly UNCS, they get bored. They are sick of not playing with their food, and they love to play with their food.
From 10 squads down to 7 in what is just a matter of like 40 seconds. Hey, wow. I don't know if they play with the food, but right now there's multiple teams that are eating right now. And as we see, you're battling between the Storm and a team that's rotating parallel to you. It looks like Burger Boy, Big Boy goes down, and Tem says, hey, I'm sorry, I gotta leave you. I gotta get towards this zone, taking heavy damage while taking to the skies. Will he be able to make it out?
My girlfriend left me esports here, already down on Burger Boy, and that's the consequence of that fight taking as long as it did. Temp, surprisingly, well, I guess with that Valkyrie finding that hide here, but Shadow Assassins are more than happy to see if they can finish off this one. Notably, though, they aren't the haste of this cave, and there are definitely squads that, yes, from behind are already going to take shots at you. They got that charge rifle in line here, so you ain't got a lot of space to move.
Ultimator thought he was going to be able to take height there, but that charge rifle brings him right back down to reality, and you have a team to your left and your right, and my GF left me are playing as a duo. We talk about their ability to fight, but somehow they continue to find themselves in awkward positions, and it's always in 7th place. They finished game 1 and game 2 in 7th place. Now we're down to 7 squads remaining, and once again, they find themselves between a rock and a hard place, and that's 2 different teams.
Meanwhile, Deadly UNCS, really no better than himself, also paired in their own fights here in these chokes. Now, granted, we know that they can lay down the damage that counts, but this kind of positioning can come at the rest of the lobby, well, collapsing on you here. We've seen it time in, time out here, and even if they find damage like that, they've got to be careful. The Singularity Arc Star shows that these teams are not ones to be threatened.
Another more confident team when it comes to the fighting, and you got Boyka with the gold vault and red shield. This man must be fearing nothing but teamwork. Big Q though, right out of there. Gotta love that grapple. You keep down in the pathy, but Zephyr, has Boyka changed your mind?
Boyka has reaffirmed the ability of a Pathfinder, what it can do for a single fragger here, but I got questions. I got questions at the end of the day, and truth behold, they let that team move up. That's a lot more space here that's been taken by Capture the Lag, but I see that on my screen. You've got Shadow Assassins coming from behind. It doesn't matter how much space they've taken now. Deadly UNC are more than happy to punish them here.
What once was a 3v3 might just be turning into a bit of a free-for-all as multiple teams are looking to get involved, and with only 7 squads remaining, this could be a critical point within the game. Deadly UNCS recognize that, and they recognize that they're on the right side of this storm that is closing in, so gatekeeping they will, making it look easy as Shadow Assassins go down, and so do Capture the Lag. 2 go down, 5 squads remaining, and now they're running into what might just be a duo, Temp and Bolton's Mania sitting on the low ground.
And Bond here was about to run right by this before realizing he's got the perfect positioning. Already a drop on Molten's Mania, and my girlfriend left me esports are probably already done here. Both of those KP, well, actually, no, IWK from a long shot with the 30-30, picking that up that other one. But hey, Deadly UNCS, they'll take as much as they can get, right? They don't mind if someone's helping out with a little bit of the damage. Still, though, for them, it is this uphill battle. It is the fact that they gotta make their way up and across here, and I think they could do it. Double shots like that is huge.
High ground coming in, and that Watson generator is getting so much value. They are kind of clumped up. I'll tell you, one good grenade could be devastating for our team that's sitting up high. Deadly UNCS have to try to find an angle when it usually starts with a big crack. A 30-30 repeater might be exactly what the doctor ordered here. Gets the height, but only able to connect onto one shot. In 30 seconds, it's Deadly UNCS that are going to be in the possibly the worst position here on the map.
It's tough for them, obviously, especially like you said, pinned against the back, but it's no better for our friends that actually host a home. The Rat's Den as a duo gonna have to defend against our previous winners, the Lennies. They know where to play. They love going for zone, and they will make that. Still though, Solidarity getting pushed on here. 30-30 in hand, a bit of the beam as well. Zorino so low, Delfino no better themselves here. They're stuck with no cover truly, but still Watson Gen and those heals put them right back in it.
And with that Bloodhound ult being popped and all 4 teams being within the general vicinity of each other, this could be the final battle because everyone is getting involved. Solidarity looking to push up, but they push right into the line of sight of a Catalyst player. The R99 shots are starting to connect, but somehow it's Mr. Lucky that goes down. Zorino putting down max damage, trying to force his way through, but it's so tough when there's a team that's holding you out and those EVA shots are coming off.
Mind you, opposite end here, exchanges between the Deadly UNCS and the Lennies taking place as Solidarity are left to the one. Beautiful rotation from Delfino on the backside. Gonna get rid of that exhibit as well. Takes to the high defense line, and with this kind of launched assault here is more than capable. A big shield swap back to the Nemesis on that reload, but the knockdown shield's got enough, but not enough here. Now, the Lennies, they finished off a successful fight against Deadly UNCS, and they don't even know that Solidarity is a single rat here. I can already say it. I can already write it home. The Lennies, they've now picked up double wins in a row.
Yeah, it may not be over, but it's darn close to it because at a 1v3 at this level of competition, it's darn near impossible. But we saw Delfino come out with that big win, and I gotta love the confidence coming out of it within that fight. That 1v1 could have gone haywire multiple times, but Delfino felt confident. Nemesis is out. So is the Moby. Oh my gosh, there's no way he gets this off.
Members up with seconds to spare, but the Lennies put this one to rest. Literally only coming through at the last split second. Still though, a major congratulations where it is due, even as anticlimactic as that finish could have been there. The Lennies, their second win of the day here, and they were coming from that low ground, and we missed it, but they had to take it toe-to-toe against the deadly UNCS there in that final fight.
It's been quite the journey for the Lennies. Like, I'm going back to game number 1. They finished second place, which was great, but only with 4 frags to their name. When you compared that to a team like deadly UNCS with, I think they had 15 slays at that point, it was a little bit behind. Then we go into game number 2. They match them slay for slay, frag for frag, pound for pound at 9 kills and taking the win in that game 2, and now taking 2 in a row. 5 frags. The Lennies are really starting to climb that leaderboard, really starting to show that they are not to be messed with here in this TELUS Esports tournament.
Still, though, I want to point out the math. The Lennies, they walk away from that game 12 points the win, 17 total. Deadly UNCS, even though they go down in third, they're 11 KP. The lion's share leaders puts them at 18 overall from their 7 points on their third place finish. Mathematically, even though they didn't win the game, even though they didn't even place second, they still put more points forward than the Lennies did off of their win. That is absurd. That shows a whole different beast that exists within the deadly UNCS.
A whole different downed beast. I'm sorry, that was terrible. I'm sorry, that was awful. Yeah, that face is necessary. I apologize. Yep. Yeah, that's right through the heart right there.
We're gonna have to go to break. I'm gonna have to find me some Tums while you guys are on your way out. Take a break, check out our Discord, join us alongside the TELUS Esports Series 3, where you can potentially have a chance at winning a little bit something for yourself, or potentially join alongside your fellow Canadian members. When we come back, our final game of the day.
Is that a phone? That thing's a gaming machine. Is that Faker? Everyone, fasten your seatbelts. And here we go.
This dead off drop. They are bunkered in Stormcatcher, playing things safe.
To see the ballistic work here, but with Shanahan already down, a massive wrecking ball. Please.
Oh, Jesus. That was one of the most brutal things I've ever seen in Apex Legends. Just for damage, but instead to close the gap. Horizon Ult's going to break the initial reinforced door, and it looks like it's not going to be put back up again. Instead, dead off drop have dropped yet another Ting. Yarki on the seer even. Popping inside. Bello gonna take down one for right now, and confidence with the R9 brings him to an almost solo wipe of the Canadian Demons. And the Brick lads sit right in between both of these teams. Horizon Ultimate going to expose Duck Tenna for a little while, but Mello makes sure to cover with the R99 from a distance. Luminosity go down, and the Brick lads are your champions.
2v3 situation now. Ibaka and Mando are set up on the interior here, gonna hold on for dear life, and you gotta turn around. You have to aim at least. You gotta do something.
The Meno Knights fall one by one. One final individual.
Brick lads are looking to make short work of this.
All right, well, we're going up. Let's see who's going down. Brick lads pick up their second victory in a row. Coming through. Zerbo's gonna have to back up. That's a 90 with the PK. What did I say about this guy? Puts the demon in Canadian Demons. He's gonna drop down once more with a drop kick out of the sky. Luminosity have just fallen apart in the face of the Bricked lads, but these are the two players that made it happen, and now they've got a very small corner, but still one that could work them into the end game. Mello's not going to be a part of this, but you drop into zone, and Doc swoops in like a hawk, picking up Niche, and making it a 2 versus 2. The flank around the side, and Brick's lads take their third game in a row.
When I first heard about the TELUS Esports Series, I was like, there's no way.
I was absolutely stoked.
You don't really hear about esports at all in Canada, let alone from a big company like TELUS.
Nice work.
Canada does have a scene, and we do have people who are thriving towards getting us into that bigger picture.
2 versus 1, and it should be their game. The Bronze Bonobos from second, now finally find first.
Simply put, the TELUS Esports Series is esports for everyone. It's our take on what we think the esports industry should look like and where we think it should go. It's way more fun to compete for something when there's something on the line. And the TELUS Esports Series gives players of all skill levels opportunities to experience that. We really want to make the gaming experience more fun for everyone, and we want to help the gaming industry evolve and grow the way that it should. And I think the time is right for it.
World's Edge.
World's Edge.
World's Edge. That's it. I'm a Wraith main. I love World's Edge. I love my buildings.
World's Edge.
World's Edge, of course. I'm a caustic main.
R301.
The flatline does so much damage. The hip fire is insane. Now it's 10 times better than the R301. Definitely the flatline.
R3.
Flatline.
R301 every day of the week.
Oh, 100% the card.
Volt.
That's tough.
Car.
Car.
But I'm gonna have to go with the Volt. 3x on the 301, the Hemlock, or the Charge Rifle.
2x Bruiser.
2 times Bruiser.
2 times HCOG.
The 2 to 4 is insane. It used to be the 3 times, but now it's the 2 to 4.
I like the Assault class.
Assault.
Oh, Wraith. Oh, my baby girl, she got a buff, and the animations with her hands look so good. I was like, oh my god, they spoiled her. I was so happy.
I'd definitely say Controller is my favorite, mainly because I am a caustic main.
Probably the controller. I'm more of a zone type player as well as an anchor, so control would be great for me.
Welcome back to the TELUS Esports Series 3. We are one game away from finalizing our playoffs here this weekend. The last chance for you to send your way home all the way towards those semifinals and potentially a shot at taking some of that sweet, sweet TELUS prize in that match point format.
Yeah, I mean, there's so much money coming out here. Like, and I gotta give a shout out to TELUS Esports. You know, we love getting involved. We love competitive Apex. I'm even a fan of Rocket League. I started watching it recently. So you're talking about $20,000 just in Apex. $20,000 in Rocket League, $50,000 worth of prizes. Even get involved with some giveaways. If you haven't joined the Discord, what's your problem? Honestly, what are you waiting for? What is wrong with you? I mean, you're talking about a group of passionate guys who love gaming. You want to find friends around you. You want to be able to stop solo queuing because you know that's abysmal. You know what's better than solo queuing? Finding a 3-stack of players that are just as passionate as you are. Hop into the Discord and get involved.
Jeez, well, yeah, if you ain't joining after a call out like that, I don't even think you're listening. My man Tony don't mess around, and hey, these players don't mess around either. They might not be looking for the giveaways, but they are looking for the lion's share of that prize pool. We'll take a look here in our final game. It does seem like we've got way more teams matching up here. I'm looking towards that wall. I'm looking towards that fish farms, and what may be potentially more towards the north.
And just to kind of give you a reminder, as you mentioned, Lenny's may have came out with the big win. 5 kills and eliminations to their name off of first place in that game number 2, but it was Deadly UNCS that came out with 11 frags, coming in 3rd place and even able to outscore them. That to me is unheard of. I still can't believe that they came out on top like that, but it just shows if you can win your battles, you will go far in competitive Apex.
Whew. See how it goes. My girlfriend left me esports, getting themselves set up. Reminder, we saw some minor exchanges from them in that last game, but ultimately, it really was the punishment of that zone. I mean, the climb up of that super massive hill that left them, well, stuck. UNC Deadly were the roster that took them out there, and it didn't even feel like they were fighting them. They literally just had an angle.
We're talking about the confidence within the fighting of my GF left me. They're highly capable, and I even saw the one of, I think it was Multimanias. He rocking a wingman and peacekeeper combo. If that's not confidence, I don't know what is. But ooh, big sky frag coming out and just barely missing out on its target. A 3v3 scenario, they got to end it quick because you know there's going to be a third party coming up soon, especially with all the noise they're making.
Big shots from afar with the wingman, even without the sight line. Burger Boy now looking to capitalize. Phrases does not have the time to actually get that health back up, and that is separation. And that means that is opportunity here. Mastiff over on the side, but Tug out with the Thermite. Going to push Burger Boys back for now, but still stands ahead.
Burger Boy taken down to the low ground, but still able to play his shields and play it patiently right back to full shields, and that means he can get right back into the action. Electing to climb up, doesn't want to waste the grapple. Back to low ground. Excellent shots onto multiple players, and the Arcstar should get max value here. And oh my goodness, my GF left me. Refused to get left in the dust, but it looks like Burger Boy goes down. That's not going to be good.
Stuck on the inside there, Molten Mania being taken advantage. Temp looking for response as well here. You've got to be careful. If I'm right, I know for a fact that that is a Newcastle, and that is never the opponent you want to be facing into a res here. Pushing down below, they'll find major cracks. 96 as Yola Haya go down, and one last remaining member on the stairwell. Friends forever are no friends of mine.
Every time we see Friends Forever on the feed, they get so close. They play so well, but once again, my GF left me able to weather the storm, able to come out on top after that wipe, and no third party coming in to introduce themselves. Or not to introduce them, but flying way over them, so
I see
avoid that.
It like shooting stars in the sky, all right? Make a wish and it may count later on. As Microphone left me Esports, they do have that crafter available, so they might delay, take some time, get a bat back into it, etc. But could find themselves potentially playing on the edge here. It can be a danger too, though. We talk about edge play and where this zone is pulling. A team like Yeah Buddy might be able to gatekeep them if they're not careful.
With those shooting stars, it looks like they can really use a wish right now. They're going to wish for R99, I'm sure, coming out of that crafter. Meanwhile, like you said, Yeah Buddy, avoiding that damage, making sure that they want to get into the zone as early as possible. They want to make it towards the end game and really start to get those placement points on top of the kill points. So they're going to take to the skies with this Valkyrie, get max information to be able to rotate as quickly as possible here on Storm Point.
Whew. Deep into the forward positioning here, and Yeah Buddy, they still leave me with lovely legend pickups. It ain't quite that Revenant that we were excited about, but Mirage, still just as good. And to be honest, I ain't got no problems with Mirage. After watching Canadian Demons play all weekend long and literally dominating alongside Zerbo and crew, you can play whatever you want.
I mean, let's be honest, Mirage is a fighting legend. It is so annoying to going up against a good Mirage player. They played that cover, they played that ultimate. You're spending time and ammo, which, by the way, most of the weapons in Apex don't have enough in a clip to be able to go blow for blow unless you're rocking a flat line like Tiny Tuan is. But once you waste that ammo, once you miss out on a decoy, you're immediately giving an advantage to whatever opposition that you're playing against that's running a Mirage. A Mirage is a fighting legend, even though it doesn't seem so, and lots of times they win their fights.
I like the way you set that up, but I mean, it is still an answer left unproven. I mean, my boy Tony's the hype man. He's the hype man when it comes to Apex Legends, so I respect it. I respect it, but I am always tentative. You know that. I hold my respect for these players' abilities.
And mind you, it looks like Lenny's are a little... They're feeling the same thing. They're feeling patient. Like they're saying, you know what, let's wait it out right here and wait for a team to get involved with us. And as you shoot that decoy, you're giving free information to the opposition, but they're still rotating over the triple take, getting some good value. And was that a did they leave one behind?
Might as well. I mean, you ain't got time to spare, but I'll tell you what, the Lennies, I mean, they lay it out there. And I almost thought I saw a drop down. I mean, okay, we got the two trails, so they still left one behind, and I know they counting. I know they know how to count there, so wherever Versalt on top going to be doing is, it's apparently an evac tower. Gonna see if they can make that one work there. We'll see which one they utilize, but definitely more defensible. Solidarity, they had good chances last game. I mean, they were a defending at the top, finished second, and now trying to assault behind this door.
And one good counter to that Catalyst passive is to quickly drop a nade and get rid of the door completely. That's exactly what Zormina does. And oh, the hip fire from the alternator, alternating that man's stance a little bit, bringing him to the knees and finishing him off quickly. Well played, and a big collapse.
Easy pickups here, but we'll see if it gets easier for just about anyone else. Deadly UNCS right up against with none other than the only dominant fighting squad here. See if they can take it toe-to-toe. Being pushed upon, Boyka's low. Bond does get that battery off, and will have to respond finally to drop onto Temp here. Going for the climb of a Rolling Thunder will push them to make this happen from behind. Burger Boy tries, but he is immediately spotted out. Now, left is a single member remaining. My girlfriend left me esports. As good as they have been today, UNCS is just better.
And that was so well played by Boyka. When Boyka went down to absolute one shot, like literally, if you just breathed on him the wrong way, he would have gone down. But still had his reticle up, still made sure he's putting down damage, using the environment to his advantage, and eventually found the shield swap he was looking for. And they found that fight without a single player going down. So I really want to give a shout out to Boyka, using that environment, keeping that reticle up, and also just being able to have the ability to continue to stay within the fight despite being at a huge disadvantage.
Like you said, huge disadvantages, and we'll see what others exist as well. Capture the lag, looking like they are trying to tussle with the muscle. Big rotation there off the cross end, and good-looking Sean with that grab cannon actually does find Bat as well. But the problem is, you've left Sumnarian, and at the end of the day, I don't think we have seen a single duo or solo actually make their way out. And I reaffirm the word solo here. You got to be careful.
You talking about muscle? I saw you flexing yesterday on the broadcast. Okay, clearly you know a thing or two about muscle.
I'm working on it. I'm working on it. All right.
Catalo forced to back down and play that Phoenix and comes right back with the flatline. Does enough damage to advance into that purple shields, but doesn't have much to go with it. So tried to play the battery, has to stop just a bit, shredding the shields of Bloodhound, even catching a bit of flesh. And oh my God, Catalo is going wild. Where did his teammate go? Good looking Sean needs to come back in and capitalize on it, because as of right now, Catalo is going off, and with that NMSL get eliminated. And yo, who is this guy?
You just gotta make moves now. Get the job done. You have developed your team's success here, and now with Banner found, capture the leg, we'll get their third back into play and hopefully live to see another fight here. That's about as good as they have ever looked.
You're gonna swap out that charge rifle for a Nemesis real quick. So Catalo showing us that man, he got that gunny. Don't let this man cook. He might just burn something.
all right. We'll let them continue to see how they play this one out. Now, granted, still much a ways to go in terms of at least what we're seeing from the rosters right now. That I mean, they've still got to get that revive up. And the fact of the matter is, you're coming into the weakest emblem. Right? I mean, Jurassic Park, the rest of this open space, teams are waiting, right? And that, I mean, like I said, that's difficult.
They find themselves in the zone right now and gonna make it forward. Meanwhile, you see a lot of teams that are actually in that inner circle, and I'm looking a little bit outside the barometer right now. There's a lot of teams that are looking to play a space that don't look big enough to fit. What, 4, maybe 5 if you count the broken teams here? We might see some fighting outside the barometer faster than we expected. They're down to 11 squads, and eventually this circle is going to be too small to house them as more teams are continuing to push that perimeter. We see a fight up on the north.
Like you said, Tony, I mean, you're right all along the money. I mean, it is a difficult position to play in, as this is probably one of the more open zones, and Deadly UNCS, they're going to capitalize on these slow rotates. Right? It's Bond, Boyka already in such a good position. I mean, I don't even know. I'm going to start calling that the fadeaway. When you're dropping behind cover the same time you're sending out 70 damage, I mean, that is a quintessential Apex fadeaway. They dropped a singularity, but it catches no one. Instead, Bond has got height on you, another 70 pound. It ain't the brakes, but the choke is happening. 60 flesh, lo-fi down, make it another. They look like clowns. Send it one to the back, final man, and they bring him downtown.
Cobra Chickens ends up getting annihilated, and man, Bond showing us how powerful height advantage can be. You make easy sightlines for yourself onto the opposition. You use literally the floor to block out any line of sight that goes right back on you, and you continue to apply pressure. That's exactly what Bond did. That's exactly the reason why Deadly UNCS lived to see the top 10.
The craziest thing, though, is like we talk about minor height. That is little to work with. Meanwhile, the Lennies, they're looking to rack up their third win of the day here. They might not be as explosive. They might not be as, we'll say, entertaining, but they are still developing where they can find it. It's already double knock drop found there, and what could be the further chase as well there. They're going to let this one go for now. Resets off, and oh, okay, never mind. Totem found him. Totem found, chat. I ain't even gonna claim for the next fight here. That man's punching. When you're punching, you know you're done.
You know, it almost reminds me of like the Heat versus like the Nuggets, you know, in the NBA. Lennies are, you know, they're not flashy. You know, they're the Heat. They get the job done. They grind. They put in the work. But the Nuggets, you know, they flashy. They fun to watch. That's Deadly UNCS. They the Nuggets. I'm just saying. I'm a big Jokic fan, so you know, I'm on there. So sorry to, you know, to the Toronto Raptors. They're not quite there yet. So, but Cam deserves to be on top eventually. Oh, hold on.
Kettle. This man's been on fire. He is activated into the last series. The Lennies, this is the worst place to be here. Totem plant already down. Tip top that last remaining member running with that dark veil almost immediately, but you cannot run good enough. Two on both sides, and Capture the Lag say there's new winners in town.
Despite the fact that Lennies go back-to-back lobbies, they do end up being taken down in 9th place. So that's really going to affect the leaderboards. Big plays from Capture the Lag, and to be honest, I think I just saw Deadly UNCS slip him a 20 real quick. Say, thanks for dealing with our light work real quick. You know, send the PayPal, because Lennies get eliminated here on Stormpoint, and that really opens up for Deadly UNCS to put some separation within the scoreboard.
Hey, all I'm saying is if we see the continuation of this Capture the Lag, I am scared for Deadly UNCS. I mean, this is a team that has come to play within their final moments, and they need it. I mean, we're talking about the last opportunity to put points up. For EK2, I mean, it ain't much better for them, though. Stuck literally between the single rock they actually have available, and yeah, buddy, right there alongside them, I mean, it's no better.
Well, the good thing for them is although EK2 might be down to 2, so are Yeah Buddy. So it's even when it comes to numbers right now. And if they're going to get themselves some elimination points, it might as well be in a 2v2 battle. So where there's a will, there's a way. And where there's a Deadly UNCS, apparently there's a victim, because they are on the hunt. Always. This is a team that ain't never
slowing down when they start to push forward. May have gone a little bit further forward than expected, but hey,
oh my god,
it ain't matter. The Rolling Thunder has done more damage than I think I have ever seen in my history of Apex Legends. As a result, more than prepared to take this fight. Sumnarian, done, dusted. Bond pushes forward and Capture the Lag. As incredible as this game has been for them, UNCS Deadly it is indescribable with words.
Deadly UNCS, they think it's a little bit of a Snipe Down's playbook right there, and having an advanced understanding of playing that angle does Flixen. He plays that wide right angle, plays it so wide, turns it ultimately into a flank, and instead of attacking the team from one place and being predictable, you come at them from multiple sides. You make them feel overwhelmed. That team didn't even know if it was just one squad or ultimately 2 or 3, because you're hitting them from multiple sides. That's one thing that Snipe Down does so well, and a large reason why they win a majority of fights, whether it's Apex or Halo, and one thing that Deadly UNCS just did as well.
I mean, creating angles, applying space, all of these are such incredible factors that, I mean, they create the advantages you see. They create the dominance and, well, just how these teams have been playing out. And it's not a hard thing to do. It only gets hard when you are in the expectation of doing it again and again and again here. My thing, Deadly UNCS, they've walked into a place where they don't have 2 wins on the day of. And I feel like I'd feel like a sorry soul if they didn't finish out strong today.
As of right now, they triple red it up right now, so they ready for war. Anybody that gets involved with them will have to deal with those max shields, and there's only 5 squads remaining. Excuse me, we might be down to 4 because, yeah, buddy, thought they could rat it out, but we got a new kill leader, and that's my boy Ka, coming in with the Pathfinder, showing you how it's done, and keeping that height advantage is Deadly UNCS. I mean, they just play so well. They're multitasking well, chasing down rats, keeping their height advantage. Now we're down to 3 squads as Solidarity eliminates EK2, but they better be careful. There's still 2 teams that are very close to Solidarity.
Solidarity here, still though, on a low ground position, and that is tough. And mind you, stuck with Shadow Assassins right ahead of them. The fact that they exchange 1 for 1 here, it basically guarantees that Deadly UNCS come out on top. Solidarity stuck now behind the fence line. Mr. Lucky with that shield swap there, but it is truly no better. You have to hope that you see the send. But Bond flexing here. The UNCS, they wait this out. Now a 2v3, not even with full health. Zorano doesn't even know what's here to hit him. It is the Deadly UNCS. Double wins on the day of, wrapping out the tourney the way they know how best.
I hate to sound like a broken record, but man, I love me some Deadly UNCS. They play such good, aggressive Apex to take advantage of the early damage, to, like I kind of mentioned before, applying pressure and taking space, surround the opponents, but still like almost like pushing up, but then retracting back when necessary, back to where their ultimate high ground is, and controlling that pace of the fight, and then eventually waiting for the right opportunity to say, okay, well, you know what? Now they just got the wipe, bringing us down to 2 squads. You know there's knocks on the feed. Well, let's make it easy. 3v2. They literally make the game look so easy. It makes me want to jump in and try to replicate it, and I promise I will fail miserably.
All right, Tony. I don't know if I see a Deadly UNCS in your future, especially if they're finishing the day out exactly how they started. I mean, you could show me match 1, you could show me match 4. They almost look identical here. The only thing that doesn't remain the same is the Lennies falling out in 9th with 3. For the UNCS, it is still a 27-point game. The only teams close to that, Solidarity, sitting there with, I believe, 16 respectively. Not even in the same threshold. A whole 11 points behind.
I mean, we talked about after that big game number 1, if honestly they wanted to, Deadly UNCS probably could have taken a game off. Like, they probably could have went and got an early lunch. I'm starving. I ordered some food a couple hours ago, and I haven't got the chance to eat. They could have literally took a game off and ate early if they wanted to, because, man, they were eating up these lobbies left and right. Just like I said, I give them a shout out earlier. I'll do it again. Deadly UNCS, damn good. And by the way, Zephyr, Pathfinder, best legend in the game.
Damn
you gotta
good.
Admit it. You gotta admit it. The best legend in the game. I don't know who Seer who? Bangalore who? Horizon what? Pathfinder all day.
I will say the Pathfinder was excellent today. I won't say he's the best legend in the game, Tony, but I will say it has been excellent today, and hopefully it'll be excellent in the future here. Remember, we ain't done yet. The TELUS Esports Series 3 continues. While we will be taking maybe a little bit of a break, 20 days away, Saturday, July 29th, you can join us for our semis, as well as the next day, our finals, especially as we bring to you none other than our match point format. And trust me, that's about as exciting as it gets when it comes to Apex. If you haven't seen it, it is the peak of action.
day after day, week after week, we continue to see the competition get better and better. Now, as we get to our semis and our finals, it's going to be that much. Match point system brings out the best in everyone. You got to get to that 50 point as fast as possible, and then from there, you have to win the game. It shows how well you play over toward the early, mid, over toward the late, how well you can play zone versus how we can play edge. It really tests your ability to be able to adapt and be versatile when it comes to each and every map, and I'm excited for it.
Well, Tony, I'm excited as well, but I'll be maybe a little bit more of a spectator as we wrap things up. I can't say the same for my man Rose over here, though, as hopefully you'll be seeing again. As for us, though, on the TELUS Esports Series, it has been an absolute blast. It's been an absolute blast once again, representing the Apex crew as a whole. And a big shout out to all of you who have come out to support this, not only within our Apex, but also Rocket League, Sideswipe, and hopefully some of those giveaways you're taking advantage of. 20 days away, semifinals into our finals. You won't want to miss it. Check it out.